Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. You guys know the drill, at least most of you do, and if you don't, use hashtag Chiefs to get your questions on the show. So type hashtag Chiefs, ask me any question, draft, free agency, whatever it is, trade rumors, trade ideas. I'll answer as many of them as I can. We're going to do a mailbag very, very soon, so go ahead, get your questions in. Now, let's get into today's Chiefs Report. The news of the day is that the Kansas City Chiefs have decided that they are going to place the franchise tag on Chris Jones. Now, as we film, it technically isn't official, but it's going to happen in the next couple of hours as soon as the Chiefs can officially do so. Ian Rappaport was the first to have that this morning. So if you're watching on our Chat Sports YouTube channel, this has already happened. But if you're watching on our Chiefs channel, maybe it hasn't officially happened yet, but it is going to happen. Chris Jones will be placed under the NFL franchise tag for Kansas City. Not unexpected, right? Like, this is what we expected. Doesn't mean the Chiefs can't sign him. Doesn't mean they won't sign him to a long-term deal. This simply prevents other teams from signing him in free agency. Chris Jones wants to stay in Kansas City long-term. The Chiefs still want to keep him long-term. This is just a precaution to make sure he doesn't go anywhere. So, for good reason that they tagged him, because he's one of the best free agents on the market. 9 sacks last year, 15.5 the year before. He's been an excellent player since Kansas City drafted him in the 2016 NFL Draft in the second round. Great second-round pick, right? So, what do you guys think? Will the Chiefs sign Jones long-term? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Or do you think he will play this season under the franchise tag? If that's your answer, type your N for no. I'm still typing my Y for yes. I'll make this the pinned comment, so go ahead and scroll down and answer this question. Will the Chiefs sign Chris Jones long-term? You look at what this guy has done since 2016. He's second in the NFL in sacks among defensive tackles. Of course, no one's Aaron Donald. He's the best in the business, but he's had more than Geno Atkins, Cam Hayward, Fletcher Cox. Chris Jones has a unique ability as a defensive tackle to rush the quarterback, to get after the quarterback. Not a lot of them can do that. And think about his versatility as well. In a 3-4 scheme, played defensive end. They switched to a 4-3, still really effective as an interior pass rusher, and he's really good against the run as well. A lot of people think he's just a pass-rushing defensive tackle. That is not the case. Chris Jones is very good on the interior. Frank Clark was the big addition last year coming off the edge. It's one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL among defensive lines. Obviously, some other good pieces as well. We'll see what happens with Mike Pennell in free agency also. I hope the Chiefs can keep him back. But I like this defensive line. No surprise that Chris Jones is getting the franchise tag. The Chiefs want to keep him in Kansas City. Now, you guys have probably taken advantage of some of these deals, but for those of you who have waited, a lot of this Chiefs Super Bowl gear, it's up to 30% off now, so take advantage. chatsports.com/ChiefsSB. We got a lot of different type of hoodies, a lot of different t-shirts, long sleeves. It's not just the ones we show you. If it's every single one we could show you, it would be 50 different pictures because there's so many styles and variations of Chiefs Super Bowl gear. We got hats. We got all kinds of stuff, long sleeve zip-ups. You know the drill. chatsports.com/ChiefsSB. We'll have the link in the comments. We'll have it in the description. This stuff's flying off the shelves. It's not going to last forever, so go ahead and take advantage of these deals today. A lot of this stuff, again, up to 30% off. Now, this one's interesting, coming in from Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network earlier today, that the chatter around the NFL Combine is the Chiefs are exploring some trades to try and shred some cap space, and maybe it's not super surprising, right? Because as of now, Chiefs projected cap, $13.4 million, and that doesn't account for Chris Jones' franchise tag hit. That'll be $16.3 million. So once that becomes official, they're actually in a deficit, which means Kansas City has to clear some cap, A, just because you got to get in the positive, and B, to make some moves in free agency if they choose to do so. These are the 5 highest cap hits for 2020. Obviously, Chris Jones will slide in at that $16.3 million range. That is his franchise tag hit if he plays under the tag. But Frank Clark, $22.7 million, he's not going anywhere. Sammy Watkins, the one to look at here, $21 million. The Chiefs can save $14 million by cutting him. I think that is very much a possibility. Could he get traded? Would someone take on that contract for 2020? I find that hard to believe, but maybe that is a possibility. What do you think? Which Chiefs player is most likely to get traded? Is it one of those players I just showed you? Is it someone else I'm not mentioning? Go ahead and cast your votes down in the comment section. And while you're doing that, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the Chiefs Report. Hit that big red button if you're watching on our Chiefs channel. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV is the link. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, just go to that link and then subscribe. We'll have off-season videos of the latest rumors, news, free agency coverage, the NFL draft. Those two things, they're coming pretty quick. Free agency about 3 weeks away. We will have you caught up on the latest regarding the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure you are subscribed to the Chiefs Report. Now, these are some guys the Chiefs could cut. Again, Sammy Watkins saves $14 million. He's the big one. He will not play at his current cap hit in Kansas City. It will not happen. If they can't find a trade or if they can't restructure, he will get released. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the offensive lineman, the guard, good player, but if he could save almost $5 million, I kind of think that might be an option there. Maybe he's a trade candidate as well. Cam Irving, swing tackle, you can save almost $5 million. That feels like a no-brainer. Daniel Sorensen, I think this one's becoming less and less likely because of how well he played down the stretch, his versatility. Plus, if Kendall Fuller leaves in free agency, you kind of need a versatile defensive back, so I think he'll probably stay, but he could save almost $4 million. And then Damian Wilson saves about $3 million as well if the Kansas City Chiefs decide to cut him. What do you think? Who are the Chiefs going to cut? Which players will they cut to save cap space? Go ahead and cast your votes down below. I think Sammy Watkins is going to get cut in the end. I don't think they're going to find a trade partner for him, but if you think there's of someone else also, go ahead and type it down below. Now, the NFL Combine has been taking place this week, as a lot of you know. They've been going through drills, started that today. Interviews, the team visits, all that stuff. Chiefs have met with several players. There's over 300 of them at the NFL Combine. Now, Kansas City only has 5 draft picks in the 2020 NFL Draft. Now, they do have a pick in the first round, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Don't have a sixth, don't have a seventh, but they have a pick in the top 5 rounds, which is a good thing. And these are the 5 biggest needs, and I say biggest. When you win the Super Bowl, you don't have a ton of major needs, but I think quarterback's a big need. Shad Breeland, Kendall Fuller, free agents, as we all know. Defensive line, that probably goes down a bit, assuming Chris Jones is good to go for this season, at least, if not hopefully long-term. Linebacker, I think, is a need. Offensive line, wide receiver. This is well documented. Running back would probably be that next need, but I don't think it's a huge need in this Chiefs offense. I think Damian Williams is just fine. Now, here are some of the Chiefs Combine visits that we know of so far. Ben Bredesen, the offensive guard out of Michigan. Then a lot of running backs. J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, who's been mocked to the Chiefs in several mock drafts in the first round. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Anthony McFarland Jr. out of Maryland is kind of an under-the-radar back you could get in the middle round. Zach Moss out of Utah is another one. LaMichael Pirine out of Florida. Then a stretch of receivers here. Lawrence Cager. Van Jefferson, who fractured his foot at the Combine, he will not be working out the rest of the way. Donovan Peoples-Jones out of Michigan, and James Prochet out of SMU. I like him a lot as a late-round option. And then some defensive players as well. Ross Blacklock, the defensive tackle out of TCU. Keep an eye on the defensive tackle position, depending on what happens with Chris Jones, with Mike Pennell. Then some edge rushers, and Patrick Queen, the linebacker out of LSU. So those are some of the Combine visits we know so far. Expect some more names to pop up in the next couple of days. What is the Chiefs' biggest need in the NFL Draft? Don't worry about free agency. What do you want the Chiefs to target in the NFL Draft? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. And while you're doing that, go get signed up with BetDSI. I keep telling you guys, I've made a ton of money with BetDSI. I put about $100 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl before the season. Was able to cash in, and I had extra money because I used that promo code NFL120. Chatsports.com/bet gets you to the sign-up page. Then you use that promo code NFL120, get you a 120% deposit bonus. So if you put down $100, that's going to get you an extra $120 for free. They will match that 120% deposit bonus all the way up to $500. So go get signed up with BetDSI today. It's the internet's #1 sportsbook. Now, this one was interesting to me and caused me to chuckle a little bit. Travis Kelce got not interviewed, but you know how TMZ goes. They have cameras everywhere, and they catch him coming out of a nightclub or whatever it is, and say, "Hey, Travis, you going to the White House? You excited?" He said, "Oh yeah, it's a crazy opportunity." Blah blah blah. Hops in his limousine and moves on with his day. And of course, you know how this goes. Had to tweet out and say, "Hey, it's a unique opportunity, regardless of who's in office." Here's the bottom line. every player has to make their own decision when it comes to this stuff. It's not the public's place to decide what these players like to do. I'm with Travis. I think you should always go. It's a good opportunity to go to the White House and meet with the president and some other government officials. I think it's a good opportunity, regardless of who is in office at the time. But I want your guys' answers. Would you go to the White House if you were invited, regardless of who the president is? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Go ahead and cast your votes down below. All right, last item here, backup quarterback. We've talked a little bit about this because it's not a major need, but it does need to be addressed because, look, Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable asset in the NFL. If he goes down, you got to have someone who can at least hold down the ship for a couple of games like Matt Moore did in 2019. Brett Veach talked about this at the Combine this week. He wants to keep either Moore or Chad Henne as the backup in 2020. I would lean Matt Moore because I thought he played pretty well this past year. Chad Henne's been a little bit more up and down, but this is the quarterback situation. Mahomes, Moore and Henne are free agents, and then Kyle Shermer was signed to a futures deal. He is also on the roster, but he's not ready. He didn't make the final 53 last year. He's a practice squad guy. I don't think he's going to be the answer as the backup quarterback. So I think it's going to be Moore or Henne. So what do you guys think? Pick a backup quarterback. Type M for Matt Moore. Type H for Chad Henne. I don't think the Chiefs will go with the super expensive option. They'll go a cheap veteran who knows the system, like Matt Moore, like Chad Henne, maybe a Chase Daniel type who's played in this Chiefs offense before. I'm typing my M for Matt Moore, and here's why. I just really liked what I saw last year. Yeah, sure, he's not going to stretch the field a ton, but he takes care of the football. 65%, over 650 yards, and 4 touchdowns against 0 interceptions. Brett Veach talked about this week, and he's absolutely right when he said this. Matt Moore led the Chiefs in a critical win in the middle of the season over the Vikings, a playoff team. While Patrick Mahomes was out, while the Chiefs were struggling a little bit, Mahomes gets back, they go on that big run. Matt Moore was critical in the middle part of the season. Chad Henne, here are his career numbers. Up and down, less than 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Producer Dylan was like, this guy's a bum. He sucks. You don't want to keep that guy. I think he's a decent backup, but I do agree. I think Matt Moore is the answer. 1 year, $2 million, bring him back, have him be the backup. And hey, if you're Matt Moore, why not chase another Super Bowl ring?